Lesson 66 has two topics, so we're going to start with signs of fractions. Notice that in this case, what we have here in the denominator is very similar, but the signs are opposite to each other. So in the first one, x is positive, and in the second one, x is negative. In the first one, 3 is negative, and in this one is positive. So in order to get common denominators, which we always want when we are adding and subtracting fractions, we need to change the sign of one of them. And I'm going to change the sign of this one. In order to do that, what I have to do is get the common factor of a negative here. If I do that, that's going to change the sign here and here. So let's rewrite this. So as you can see, now the two factors are x minus 3, but we have an extra negative here. This extra negative is going to affect the sign here, in this case, that negative. Now, if you remember, negative times negative is positive. So now I have 1 plus 7a, all of that over x minus 3. And that's our answer. So what we want to do is change the sign, put a negative in front, so that we change the signs of the terms inside of the factor so that we have common denominator and then we can add. Let's look at another example. In this one, we have the same. Notice how the x is positive in one, but is negative on the other one, and the 3 is negative in one, but is positive in the other one. So I want to change, so I'm going to change this one. Again, if I put a negative in front, it's going to change the signs of both of them. And now we have x minus 3 as our common factor. Now the negative is going to affect the sign here. Positive times negative is negative. So let's write here 4x plus 5. That one doesn't have any change. And then the negative is going to affect the whole binomial on the top, so 2x minus 3. Remember, a negative in front of a parenthesis changes the signs. So we keep the first one the same, but then we change the signs on the top. And since we already have the same denominator, we just write that one time. Then we're going to add like terms. I'll just write it here. 4x minus 2x is 2x, and 5 plus 3 is 8. And that's it. That's our answer. Very simple. Just notice that all you have to do is change the sign, and when you change the sign, you also have to change the sign here. Now, the second part of the lesson is the 30-60 triangles. They're also called 30-60-90, but to make it shorter, we can also just say 30-60 because we know the other one is going to be 90. Now, what is happening? Well, if we were to draw here an equilateral triangle where all the sides are the same and all the angles are the same, they're all 60. And let's say those are 2, 2, and 2. They're all the same. It's an equilateral triangle. If I were to draw the height of that triangle, it's going to divide the equilateral triangle into 2 equal right triangles. Now notice that this 2 is going to be gone, and now it's going to be half, 1 and 1. And if we do Pythagoras, then we would see, as you can see here, that the measurement of the height is square root of 3. And what's happening is that it's always going to have that relationship. And that's what we see here. That the smallest side, the one that is opposite to 30, the smallest side, is half the measurement of the hypotenuse. So to find the hypotenuse, I have to multiply times 2 to get the hypotenuse or the longest side. And we have to multiply times square root of 3 to get the medium side. And this is going to happen always, always, always. So you have to memorize this, okay? You have to memorize that little triangle. What I want you to remember is that this guy is the bridge. Okay, the smallest side is the bridge. So if they give me the bridge, the smallest, I multiply to find the hypotenuse or to find the other side, the medium side. But if they give me the hypotenuse, I have to divide by 2 to find the bridge. Or if they give me the medium, I have to divide by the square root of 3 to get the bridge. Okay? So what I know right now might be a little crazy, but you'll see how easy it is. Let's look at an example. In this case, they're telling us the hypotenuse is 5. How do I know it's the hypotenuse? Because it's the one opposite to 90. Okay? So that's the hypotenuse. So what do we know about the hypotenuse? That is double the bridge. Now, which one is the bridge? The bridge is always the one opposite to 30. Notice 30 is here. It's the smallest of the 3 sides. So that's the bridge. I'm going to write it here so we are all clear on that. So I need to divide by 2 to get the bridge. So I know that y is going to be 5 divided by 2. And in this case, we can't reduce, so we leave it like that. Now that we have the bridge, I can go up to find x. And in this case, since we're going from the small one to the medium one, then we have to multiply. So we multiply 5/2 times the square root of 3. And that's it. That's all we have to do. Now let's look at another example. In this case, they're giving us the bridge. Notice that they're giving us 10, which is the smallest of the sides. So to find x and y, we're going to have to multiply. To find y, I have to multiply times 2. 10 times 2, which is 20. And to find x, I have to also multiply because we're going from small to big. And so we're going to multiply 10 times square root of 3, which is 10 square root of 3. And that's it. That's our answer. X is 10 square root of 3, y is 20. Now let's look at this last example. In this case, they're giving us the one that is the medium one, not the smallest, not the hypotenuse. So we have to go through the bridge. That's why we call it the bridge, because we have to go through it to get then to y. Okay? So in this case, we're going from bigger to smaller. So what we have to do is divide by the square root of 3. So let's put it here. X is going to be square root of 6 divided by square root of 3. You can obviously put that in the calculator. And the square root of 6 divided by the square root of 3 is square root of 2. Notice how we're always using these values. 2, 1, and square root of 3. So that would be x. X is square root of 2. Now to find y is very easy. We just have to multiply times 2. So to find y, we multiply x, which is the square root of 2, times 2, and our answer is 2 square root of 2. And that's it. That's our answer. So go do some practice. If you need to watch this again, do it. And let me know if you have any questions. And I'll see you in the next video.